Look up at the night sky and tell me what you see. Do you see an endless ocean of freedom, or do you see the bars of a cage? We are taught that the universe is expanding, rushing away from a central point, but physics suggests a much darker reality is effectively controlling our destiny. Imagine for a moment that gravity is not just a force holding you down, but a relentless grip that has already won the war for your existence. Everything we know, every star and every planet, might simply be debris falling into an infinite abyss that we mistake for a home. Astronomers have spent decades searching for the edge of the cosmos, but what if the edge isn't a wall, but an event horizon we can never escape? The deeper we look into space, the more the laws of physics begin to resemble the chaotic, crushing interior of a singularity. We fear the black holes lurking in the center of galaxies, devouring light and matter, unaware that we might be living inside the grandmother of them all. Stephen Hawking once proposed that black holes aren't just destroyers, but creators, suggesting a cycle of death and birth that makes our existence a cosmic accident. Consider the Big Bang, that moment of rapid expansion. Mathematically, it is indistinguishable from the collapse of a star in a higher dimensional universe. This isn't science fiction. This is a serious hypothesis known as black hole cosmology, and it turns our understanding of reality upside down. If this theory holds weight, then our entire observable universe is merely the interior geometry of a hypermassive black hole existing in a parent universe. The timeline of our history, from the first atom to your birth, is just the slow digestion process of a cosmic predator. Look at the darkness between the stars. That is not empty space. It is the shadow of the containment field that keeps us isolated from the true reality. Roger Penrose argued that singularities are inevitable, suggesting that our universe must have started from one and will likely end in one. The expansion of space might actually be the growth of the black hole's event horizon as it swallows more matter from the outside. We perceive time as moving forward, but inside a black hole, space and time swap roles, dragging us inevitably toward the future. This dragging effect implies that we have no free will in the grand scheme. We are falling toward a terminal destination we cannot see. Every galaxy moving away from us is just debris caught in a different current of the gravitational waterfall. The sheer vastness of the cosmos creates an illusion of freedom, masking the claustrophobic truth that the walls are closing in. Physicist Nikodem Poplawski suggests that every black hole contains a seed for a new universe, a nesting doll of realities stretching into infinity. This means our universe has a mother, a parent universe that is older, colder, and perhaps far more terrifying than we can comprehend. And if we are inside a black hole, then what is happening on the outside? Is the parent universe dying, or is it thriving? Perhaps the light we see from the cosmic microwave background is just the echo of the event horizon's formation billions of years ago. The Hubble constant, which measures expansion, might actually be measuring the rate at which our parent black hole is feeding. If the parent universe stops feeding, our universe could freeze. If it feeds too fast, we could be ripped apart by tidal forces. We are entirely dependent on the conditions of a place we can never visit, prisoners of a realm beyond our physical reach. Scientific calculations regarding the Schwarzschild radius of the visible universe yield a number that is hauntingly identical to the universe's actual physical radius. That coincidence is too precise to be ignored. It suggests that the boundary of our reality is mathematically identical to a black hole's surface. When you look at a picture of a black hole, you are looking at a mirror, seeing the exterior of a structure we inhabit from the inside. The information paradox, which asks where information goes when it falls into a hole, is solved if the information becomes a new universe, us. We are the trash of another dimension, the discarded matter that was crushed out of existence there to be reborn here. It implies that our fundamental laws of physics were forged in a cataclysmic event of destruction in a higher realm. Dark energy, the mysterious force pushing galaxies apart, might simply be the result of the parent black hole growing in mass. We have been searching for the source of dark energy for decades, never realizing it comes from outside our universe entirely. Every time a black hole forms in our universe, are we creating a child universe, continuing a fractal lineage of cosmic entrapment? It forces us to ask if life is a purpose of the universe, or just a parasitic side effect of a stellar collapse. The silence of the cosmos, the Fermi paradox, takes on a darker tone. Perhaps no one travels between stars because the cage is too small. If we're in a black hole, escape is theoretically impossible. All paths lead inward, and the light can never return to the source. We are drifting in a one-way stream of time, and the Big Bang was simply the moment we crossed the threshold of no return. The cosmic microwave background radiation is the last fading image of the parent universe before the door slammed shut behind us. Scientists like Lee Smolin argue for cosmological natural selection, where universes reproduce through black holes, evolving to create more black holes. This reduces humanity to a microscopic accident inside a reproductive organ of a multiverse that cares nothing for our survival. The feeling of existential dread you feel when looking at the stars is a primal recognition of our absolute confinement. We build telescopes to see further, but we are only mapping the interior walls of our own celestial prison cell. Even the light from our own sun is trapped here with us, destined to circulate until the end of entropy. Is it possible to send a signal out? Or would any message we send simply be crushed by the gravity at the edge? We are isolated, cut off from the rest of the multiverse, living out our history in a bubble of warped space-time. The deeper we investigate, the more the boundary between universe and black hole dissolves into a terrifying singularity of truth. There is no outside for us. There is only the descent, the expansion, and the inevitable silence of the dark. Let us examine the evidence, the anomalies, and the math that suggest our reality is nothing more than a cosmic grave. To understand the terrifying magnitude of this theory, we must first strip away the pop culture veneer of what a black hole actually is. We are conditioned to think of them as cosmic vacuum cleaners, swirling vortices of destruction that sit in the middle of star clusters like hungry mouths. But this is a limitation of our human perspective, a failure of scale. In the equations of general relativity, a black hole is not defined by the matter it eats, but by the boundary it creates, the event horizon. This is the point of no return, a sphere where gravity becomes so intense that escape velocity exceeds the speed of light. Once you cross this threshold, there is no out. There is only in. But here is where the investigative nightmare begins. The mathematics describing this prison cell do not require the matter inside to be crushed into a singularity immediately. The event horizon is simply a disconnected region of space-time, a bubble of reality cut off from the rest of existence. If you were large enough, you could cross an event horizon without even noticing, only to realize billions of years later that the sky has changed and you can never go home. The definition of a black hole is indistinguishable from a closed universe. Let's go back to the trenches of World War I, where German physicist Karl Schwarzschild calculated the first exact solution to Einstein's field equations while artillery shells rained down around him. He discovered that any mass, if compressed into a small enough space, would collapse space-time around itself, creating a pit from which nothing escapes. This is the Schwarzschild radius. For the Earth, that radius is about the size of a marble. For the Sun, it is a sphere a few kilometers wide. We look at these numbers and we feel safe because they are small, compact, and localized anomalies. But the math hides a horrifying secret about density. The formula for the Schwarzschild radius shows that the radius is directly proportional to the mass. If you double the mass, you double the radius. But volume, the space inside the sphere, grows by the cube of the radius. This means that as a black hole gets massive, its average density drops precipitously. A black hole the mass of a galaxy is less dense than water, and a black hole the mass of the observable universe, the math says it would be virtually empty, a vacuum filled with sparse dust and gas, exactly like the reality we see when we look out the window. This is the smoking gun that astrophysicists lie awake thinking about, the critical density. If we take the estimated total mass of the visible universe, every galaxy, every nebula, every photon of light, and plug it into Schwarzschild's forbidden equation, we do not get a paradox. We get a match. The radius of a black hole with the mass of our universe is almost exactly equal to the observable radius of our universe, roughly 13.8 billion light-years. This is not a rounding error. This is not a coincidence. In any other field of science, a correlation this precise would be considered definitive proof. It suggests that we are living inside the Schwarzschild radius of a hypermassive object. The edge of the universe that we cannot see past is not simply a limitation of light travel time. It is the physical event horizon of our containment. We are not exploring an infinite void. We are measuring the dimensions of our cell. The universe isn't like a black hole. Mathematically, it is one. If we accept the premise that our universe satisfies the condition of a black hole, we must confront the singularity paradox. In the standard model, the center of a black hole is a point of infinite density where physics breaks down, a dead end. But that model assumes a static, non-rotating hole. In reality, black holes spin, and they twist spacetime around them. Physicist Nikodem Poplawski has proposed that the matter falling into a black hole doesn't just crash into a wall, it twists. This torsion prevents the formation of a singularity. Instead of crushing down to nothing, the matter is compressed until it rebounds, exploding outward in a violent expansion. To an observer on the outside, the star has collapsed and vanished. But to an observer on the inside of the collapse, the rebound looks exactly like a Big Bang. This suggests that our creation event was simply the moment the parent universe fed us enough matter to trigger the expansion. We are the other side of the funnel, the white hole spewing out the debris of a dead star from a higher dimension. This rebound theory solves one of the most disturbing mysteries in cosmology, the horizon problem. When we look at the cosmic microwave background, the afterglow of the Big Bang, it is terrifyingly uniform. The temperature is the same in every direction, to within a fraction of a degree. In the standard Big Bang model, this makes no sense, because opposite sides of the universe are too far apart to have ever exchanged heat or information. They should be different. But if we were born from the collapse of a parent star, then everything in our universe was once in contact before the expansion began. We are uniform because we were all part of the same stellar core that was crushed into unity before being blown apart. The homogeneity of our universe is not a peaceful equilibrium. It is the scar tissue of a violent compression event that happened before time as we know it even began. We are all made of the same recycled ash. Consider the arrow of time. Why does it only move forward? Why can we remember the past but not the future? In our daily lives, we think of time as a constant river. But general relativity tells us that inside a black hole, the roles of space and time flip. The radial coordinate, the distance to the center, becomes a time coordinate. This means that moving toward the center of the black hole is as inevitable as moving toward tomorrow. You cannot turn around and go back to the center of the galaxy any more than you can turn around and go back to last Tuesday. If we are living inside a black hole, this explains the tyranny of time. We are falling. The expansion of the universe is an optical illusion caused by our relative motion through this warped space-time geometry. We perceive ourselves as moving away from a Big Bang, but geometrically, we are falling toward a terminal point in the future, a singularity that waits for us at the end of time. This geometric inversion leads to a profound existential horror. The end of the world is not a random possibility. It is a fixed location in our future. In a standard universe, we could theoretically float forever in the void. In a black hole universe, there is a destination. We are on a train with no brakes, hurtling toward an interaction with the singularity. However, because of the vast scales involved, this fall takes billions of years. What we perceive as the heat death of the universe, the slow fading of all stars, might just be the view from inside the falling debris as it cools down. We are freezing to death on our way to the incinerator. The darkness of the night sky is not empty space. It is the walls of the chute we are sliding down, effectively isolating us from the light of the parent universe that spawned us. We are cosmic orphans, descending into the dark. But let us expand the scope of the investigation to the parent universe. If we are the interior of a black hole, then our Big Bang was the result of a massive star collapsing in a four-dimensional universe. This is the dimensional hierarchy hypothesis. Just as a 2D shadow is cast by a 3D object, a 3D black hole is the shadow of a 4D collapse. When a 4D star runs out of fuel and implodes, its event horizon forms a three-dimensional hypersphere. That hypersphere is us. We are the skin of a dying hyperstar. This implies that the laws of physics we hold dear, gravity, electromagnetism, the nuclear forces, may not be universal truths. They might be specific, localized conditions that only exist inside this specific container. In the parent universe, physics could be entirely different. We are a localized bubble of distorted reality, a pocket of weirdness where 3D life can exist only because the higher dimensional geometry broke down in a very specific way. This leads us to the dark mystery of inflation. Cosmologists have long struggled to explain why the early universe expanded exponentially, faster than light, in the first fraction of a second. It is a plug in the theory, something we added to make the math work. But in the black hole cosmology, inflation isn't a mysterious force. It is the event horizon forming. Imagine the moment the star collapses. The event horizon expands rapidly to encompass the mass. That rapid expansion is inflation. We are seeing the formation of our prison walls from the inside. The reason the expansion stopped and slowed down is because the black hole stabilized. But recently, we found that the expansion is speeding up again. Dark energy. In this terrifying context, dark energy might mean that the parent universe has started feeding our black hole again. We are expanding because fresh matter is falling in from the outside, adding mass to our prison and stretching the walls. If dark energy is actually matter from the parent universe falling into our black hole, it fundamentally changes our understanding of our future. We are not an isolated system. We are an open system, being fed by a source we cannot see. Every time the expansion accelerates, it means something massive, a star, a gas cloud, or another planet, has been swallowed by the black hole we live in. We are the digestion process. The galaxies moving away from us are simply riding the tidal currents of this new mass entering our reality. We are trembling from the impact of events happening in a higher dimension. It makes humanity small in a way that is difficult to articulate. We are bacteria living in the stomach of a beast that is currently eating. And we have no way of knowing when the next meal will come, or if it will be violent enough to rip our localized cluster apart. Let's dig into the anomaly of the axis of evil. This is a strange, unexplained alignment in the cosmic microwave background. The hot and cold spots of the early universe seem to be aligned along a specific axis, effectively pointing in a specific direction. In a random, standard Big Bang universe, this should not exist. The cosmos should be isotropic, the same in all directions. But if the universe is a rotating black hole, it has an axis of rotation. The axis of evil is the ghostly imprint of the parent star's spin stamped onto our sky forever. It is evidence that we are inside something that is turning. We are not floating in still water. We are caught in a vortex. This alignment violates the Copernican principle, which states we are not in a special place. It turns out we are in a very specific place, the interior of a spinning mechanism that has a definite up and down relative to the higher dimension. Now, consider the holographic principle. Theoretical physicists like Leonard Susskind have proposed that all the information in our 3D universe is actually encoded on a 2D surface at the boundary of the universe. This sounds like madness until you apply it to black holes. The entropy, or information of a black hole, is proportional to its surface area, not its volume. If we are inside a black hole, then everything we see, you, me, the stars, is a holographic projection of the data stored on the event horizon. We are the shadows on the wall. The real, physical data is plastered on the edge of the universe, billions of light years away. We are merely the processed image of that data. This suggests that our sensation of depth, of being here, is a compelling illusion generated by the geometry of our containment. We are a simulation, running on the hardware of the event horizon. This holographic nature brings us to the information paradox. Stephen Hawking famously argued that when a black hole evaporates, the information inside is destroyed, violating the laws of quantum mechanics. But if the information is stored on the surface, it is never lost. However, for us, the entities inside the hole, this has a grim implication. If the parent black hole we inhabit ever evaporates via Hawking radiation, our universe doesn't just freeze, it deletes. The data that describes our existence would slowly bleach off the surface of the horizon. Our reality would maintain its internal consistency right up until the moment the last byte is radiated away, and then, total erasure. We are data stored on a hard drive that is slowly demagnetizing. We wouldn't feel it happen, we would simply cease to have ever existed in the timeline of the multiverse. Let's look at the Goldilocks enigma. Why are the laws of physics just right for life? If gravity were slightly stronger, stars would burn out in microseconds. If it were weaker, atoms wouldn't form. This fine-tuning is often used as an argument for a creator, but the black hole hypothesis offers a darker explanation: cosmological natural selection. Physicist Lee Smolin proposes that universes reproduce. Black holes are the eggs. A universe that creates many black holes has many offspring. The laws of physics in the offspring are slightly mutated versions of the parent. Over trillions of generations, the multiverse selects for universes that are efficient at making black holes. And guess what creates black holes? Massive stars. And what do massive stars need? Carbon, oxygen, gravity. The exact same ingredients needed for life. We exist not because the universe loves us, but because we are a byproduct of a universe optimized for reproduction. This implies that we are effectively living in a breeder reactor. The purpose of our universe is not to host civilization, but to collapse massive clouds of gas into singularities to spawn the next generation. We are the bacteria growing on the petri dish of a reproductive experiment. This theory predicts that every black hole in our sky, Cygnus X1, Sagittarius A, is a baby universe, expanding into its own dimension, disconnected from us. We are surrounded by billions of invisible realities. Budding off from our own, it creates a fractal of infinite regression. We are the child of a universe, and the parent of billions more. It is a chain of life that is entirely mechanical, cold, and devoid of consciousness. We are simply the gears in a machine designed to maximize entropy. But what happens to the failure universes? The ones where the laws of physics mutated too much? They wouldn't form stars, they wouldn't form black holes. They would be sterile, dead voids that expand and die without offspring. The fact that we are here, in a universe rich with structure, is merely survivorship bias. We are the winners of a cosmic lottery where the losers are erased from existence. It suggests a multiverse filled with the corpses of failed realities, sterile bubbles floating in the bulk, dark and empty. It is a chilling thought. For every universe like ours that works, there may be trillions of stillborn realities where light never shone. We are walking a tightrope over an abyss of non-existence, kept alive only by the precise calibration of our physical constants. Let's turn our eyes to the James Webb Space Telescope. It recently discovered galaxies in the early universe that are far too large and too mature to have formed so quickly after the Big Bang. They are impossible galaxies. The Standard Model is breaking under this pressure. But if we are in a black hole, this makes perfect sense. These galaxies weren't formed from scratch in the Dark Ages. They are the remnants of the core of the parent star. They are the debris that survived the collapse, the undigested chunks of the previous universe that fell in with us. We are looking at the ruins of our ancestor universe. This suggests that our history is older than the Big Bang. We are living in a recycled reality, built on the bones of a world that died to create us. This concept of survival leads us to the nature of vacuum decay. We assume the vacuum of space is stable, the lowest energy state possible. But if we are in a black hole, the pressure and density conditions are extreme. We might be in a false vacuum, a metastable state that could collapse at any moment. If a bubble of true vacuum were to form anywhere in our universe, it would expand at the speed of light, rewriting the laws of physics and deleting everything in its path. It would be a phase transition, like water turning to ice, but on a cosmic scale. Because we are in a closed system, a black hole, there is nowhere for this energy to go. The shock wave would bounce off the event horizon and incinerate everything. We are sitting on a powder keg, assuming the ground is solid rock. We must also reconsider the Great Attractor. This is a gravitational anomaly in the Laniakea supercluster that is pulling our galaxy and thousands of others towards it at millions of miles per hour. We can't see what it is because it's hidden behind the zone of avoidance, dust clouds in our own galaxy. But the pull is terrifyingly strong. In the black hole universe theory, the Great Attractor might be a drain, a point where the internal geometry of our black hole is warping towards a connection with another bubble. Or perhaps it is a massive concentration of matter that fell in shortly after us, a sibling clump of debris. We are being dragged across the universe by a monster we cannot see, drifting in a current we cannot fight. The psychological impact of this theory is the total removal of the external. We tend to think of space as a frontier we can explore outward forever. But a black hole has a finite volume, even if that volume is expanding. It means the universe is a room. A very large room, but a room nonetheless. We are not explorers. We are inmates. The speed of light is not just a speed limit. It is the maximum processing speed of the simulation, or the maximum propagation speed of the containment field. We are limited not by technology, but by the fundamental architecture of the cage. We can never leave. Even if we built a ship that could travel for eternity, we would simply loop around the curvature of space-time, or hit the firewall of the horizon. And what of the white hole counterpart? Einstein's equations allow for a white hole, a region where nothing can enter, only leave. For a long time, these were considered mathematical curiosities. But if our Big Bang was the white hole end of a black hole, it implies a directional flow of matter. Matter goes in the parent black hole, is crushed, and sprays out into our white hole. This flow might be continuous. We might still be erupting. The expansion of the universe is the pressure of this continuous eruption. We are living in the blast zone of an explosion that has been happening for 13.8 billion years. The peace and quiet of the night sky is a deception. We are riding the shockwave of a detonation that hasn't finished yet. This continuous flow model might explain why we can't find the antimatter. The standard model says the Big Bang should have produced equal parts matter and antimatter, which should have annihilated each other, leaving nothing. But we are here. Where is the antimatter? Perhaps the parent black hole acted as a filter. Maybe the collapse of the parent star preferentially trapped matter, while the antimatter was radiated away in the outer universe. We are the leftovers. The universe we inhabit is the result of a cosmic filtration system that separated the ingredients of reality before we were even born. We are the precipitate at the bottom of the test tube. Now, let's get truly speculative. If we are inside a black hole, and that black hole is inside a parent universe, what happens if the parent black hole merges with another black hole? Gravitational wave detectors like LIGO hear the chirp of black holes colliding in our universe. It is a violent, chaotic event. If our parent hole collided with another, our universe would experience a cataclysm of unimaginable proportions. The gravitational waves from the parent universe would ripple through our dimensions. We might perceive this as a sudden inexplicable warping of space, a shifting of the stars, or a sudden acceleration of time. We are at the mercy of events happening on a scale that dwarfs our entire reality. We could be merged with another universe tomorrow, and we wouldn't see it coming until the sky tore open. This merger scenario suggests that universes can mate. If two black holes merge, their interiors combine. The two baby universes inside them would collide. It would be a collision of realities, a mixing of physical laws. Civilizations from one universe could theoretically come into contact with the other, but more likely, the collision would be destructive. The fine-tuned constants of our universe would clash with the constants of the other. The result would be a new hybrid universe, but the process of getting there would likely sterilize everything that currently exists. We are fragile bubbles floating in a foam, and when bubbles touch, they pop and reform. Our stability is an illusion maintained by the isolation of our parent hole. Let's zoom in on the quantum level. Quantum entanglement, spooky action at a distance, defies the speed of light. Two particles, light years apart, react instantly to each other. This suggests that the space between them is not real in the way we think. In the holographic black hole model, these two particles are close together on the 2D surface of the event horizon. In the 3D projection, our world, they look far apart, but the connection remains because, on the source code level, they are neighbors. Entanglement is the glitch in the matrix that reveals the true 2D nature of our prison. We are seeing the wiring behind the walls. Space is just the resolution of the hologram, and sometimes, the pixels touch. This holographic connection implies that distance is a construct. If we could manipulate the information on the event horizon, we could theoretically teleport anywhere in the universe instantly. We wouldn't be traveling through space. We would be rewriting the address of our matter on the boundary shell. This is the ultimate goal of a Type 3 civilization, to hack the operating system of the black hole itself. But doing so might risk destabilizing the projection. If you scratch the film, the movie is ruined. We are playing with forces that hold the fabric of reality together, unaware that the fabric is just a thin sheet stretched over an infinite drop. What about the Fermi paradox? Why is the universe silent? Maybe the advanced civilizations know the truth. They know that expanding outwards is futile because the universe is a closed cell. They know that radio waves will just bounce off the horizon. Maybe they have turned inward, entering virtual realities or diving into the quantum realm to escape the cosmic trap. Or, more terrifyingly, perhaps they discovered how to punch a hole in the event horizon to escape to the parent universe, and, in doing so, destroyed themselves. The silence might be the result of 1 billion failed escape attempts. We are the only ones naive enough to still be shouting into the dark. There is also the question of leakage. Hawking radiation suggests black holes slowly lose mass. This means energy is leaking out of our universe into the parent universe. Slowly, over eons, our reality is evaporating. We are bleeding out. This evaporation process would manifest in our universe as a gradual loss of energy, a subtle violation of the conservation of mass. It is too slow for us to measure yet, but it is a death sentence. Eventually, the parent black hole will disappear, and our bubble will pop. What happens to the interior when the container vanishes? Does the universe spill out into the parent void, or does it simply wink out of existence? The math suggests the latter. We are biodegradable. Consider the Great Void in Eridanus, a region of space 1.8 billion light-years across that is completely empty. No stars, no galaxies, and it's colder than the rest of the universe. Standard cosmology cannot explain a hole this big. But in the context of a black hole universe, this could be a defect in the event horizon, a scar from the formation event. Or it could be the point of entry, the spot where the matter that created us first punched through. It is the navel of the universe, the connection point to the parent body. Looking at the cold spot is looking at the umbilical cord that tied us to the higher dimension, now severed and drifting in the dark. The concept of dark matter also fits disturbingly well. We can't see it, but it holds galaxies together. In this theory, dark matter could be the gravitational influence of the parent universe pressing in on us. Or it could be mirror matter, the result of the rebounding singularity. If the bounce wasn't perfect, it could have created two superimposed realities that only interact via gravity. We might be sharing our black hole with a shadow universe occupying the same space, ghosting right through us. We feel their gravity, but we never see their stars. We are haunted by the other half of the collapse. Let's talk about the impossible size of the universe. It is 93 billion light-years wide, yet only 13.8 billion years old. It expanded faster than light. This violation of relativity is permitted only if space itself is expanding. But inside a black hole, space is not a static stage. It is a fluid flowing towards the singularity. The superluminal expansion we calculate is just the relative velocity of the space-time waterfall. We are trying to measure the size of a river while being swept downstream. The edge is moving away from us not because it is growing, but because we are shrinking relative to the metric of the parent universe. We are undergoing spaghettification on a cosmic scale, stretched out so thin that we mistake our distortion for expansion. If we assume the Matryoshka doll model, universes within universes, we must ask, is there a bottom? Is there a top? If every black hole creates a universe, and every universe creates black holes, it is an infinite regress. But thermodynamics says entropy must increase. This means each subsequent universe is slightly colder, slightly more disordered than the parent. We are living in a degraded copy of the parent reality, and the universes we create will be even more broken. It is a cascading failure of structure, a copy of a copy of a copy, losing fidelity with each generation. We are not evolving. We are dissolving. This leads to the fine structure constant variation. Some data suggest that the laws of physics are not the same in all directions of the universe. In one direction, electromagnetism is slightly stronger. This dipole effect is heresy in standard cosmology. But in a rotating black hole, the space-time torsion is stronger along the equator than the poles. If we see variation in the laws of physics, we are mapping the geography of the black hole's interior. We are seeing the Coriolis effect of the parent universe's spin acting on our atomic bonds. We are not in a neutral vacuum. We are in a centrifuge. The idea of the observable universe is the ultimate censorship. We can only see light that has had time to reach us. But in a black hole, light paths are bent into closed loops. If we looked far enough, we might see the back of our own heads. But the universe is too young for that light to have made the loop yet. We are trapped in the now, unable to see the curvature that would reveal our prison. We are like ants on a balloon, thinking the world is flat because we can't see the horizon curve. But the geometry is there, hiding in the tensor fields of relativity, waiting to be found. Let's consider the fate of matter. In our universe, matter tends to clump into stars. In the parent universe, matter clumped to form the black hole that made us. It's a pattern of aggregation. But why? Gravity is the only force that crosses dimensions. If string theory is correct, gravitons can leak out of our universe into the bulk. This means we are losing gravity. Over trillions of years, our universe might simply unbind itself as its gravity bleeds away into the extra dimensions. We are a leaky bucket, slowly losing the force that holds us together. One day, atoms simply won't hold onto their electrons, and chemistry will end. The Big Crunch was a popular theory. The universe would stop expanding and collapse back in. In the black hole model, this is the inevitable meeting with the singularity. But because of the time dilation inside the hole, this collapse happens in the infinite future for us. We are caught in a Zeno's paradox, falling forever, but never hitting the bottom, because time stretches out to infinity as we approach the end. We are trapped in a state of eternal dying. The end never comes, only the fading of the light and the cooling of the void. An eternity of twilight. Think about the density of vacuum energy. It is 10 to the power of 120 times smaller than quantum field theory predicts. This is the vacuum catastrophe, the worst prediction in physics. But if we are in a black hole, the vacuum energy is determined by the curvature of the containment, not by the quantum fields. The boundary conditions of the event horizon dampen the energy. The massive discrepancy is actually proof of the boundary. We are not in an infinite open space. We are in a cavity resonator, and the notes that can play, the particles that can exist, are limited by the size of the box. We are small because the box forces us to be. The psychological horror deepens when you realize that discovery is just mapping the walls. We send probes to Mars, we look at Alpha Centauri, it feels like progress. But if the universe is a closed geometry, we are just pacing in a cell. The grandeur of space exploration is the grandeur of a prisoner learning the exact dimensions of his cell block. Does it matter if the cell is 93 billion light-years wide if there is no key? The human spirit craves the infinite, but physics hands us a closed loop. The stars are not beacons of hope. They are the ceiling lights of the facility. But there is a twist, a glimmer of dark hope. If every black hole is a universe, then we are creators. Every time a star collapses in the Milky Way, we are birthing a new reality. We are the gods of billions of microscopic universes. And perhaps in one of those universes, the laws of physics are kinder. Perhaps we are the harsh, brutal ancestors of a lineage of universes that evolve into paradise. We are the sacrifice. We endure the cold, the dark, and the entropy so that the next generation can exist. We are the shell of the seed, destined to rot so the life inside can grow. Or we are the disease. If black holes are destructive tears in the fabric of the parent universe, then we are a cancer. We are a tumor that is growing, consuming mass, and spreading. The expansion of our universe is the growth of the tumor. The dark energy is the rate of infection. Maybe the parent universe is fighting back. Maybe the cosmic rays and gamma bursts we see are the immune system of the host trying to sterilize us. We are fighting a war against a host we cannot see, and our very existence is the weapon. Let's look at the void again. The Boots void, a sphere of nothingness 330 million light-years across. If we are in a black hole, these voids might be bubbles of true vacuum, where the space-time of our universe has failed. They are dead pixels in the projection. If you entered the Boots void, would you simply cease to exist? Or would you fall through the floor of reality and exit the black hole? Maybe the voids are the escape hatches, the drains where the matter is leaving our universe to feed the next one down the chain. The emptiness is the exit. The structure of the cosmic web, the filaments of galaxies, looks strikingly like a neural network. It looks like a brain. Some have argued the universe is conscious. In the black hole theory, this takes a strange turn. Are we the neural firing of a giant brain? Is the parent black hole a neuron in a much larger mind? If we are information processing units, then our lives, our wars, our loves are just data packets being exchanged in the cognitive processes of a titan. We are thoughts in the mind of a god that doesn't know we exist. The great filter of civilization might be the realization of this truth. Once a civilization discovers it is inside a black hole, it realizes the futility of expansion. It stops broadcasting. It stops building fleets. It builds a matryoshka brain around a star and uploads its consciousness into a simulation, because a simulated heaven is better than a real prison. The reason we don't see aliens is because they have all checked out of reality. They chose the blue pill. We are the only ones left taking the red pill, staring at the naked singularity. There is a theory called cosmic censorship. It states that singularities are always hidden by event horizons. Naked singularities cannot exist. Nature abhors them. This suggests that the universe must drape a horizon around any break in reality. We are that drape. Our universe exists solely to hide the naked singularity of the parent star from the rest of the parent universe. We are the curtain pulled over a cosmic wound. Our beauty, our complexity is just the pattern on the bandage. If we could see the event horizon from the inside, what would it look like? It wouldn't be a black wall, it would be bright, extremely bright. As light from the parent universe falls in, it gets blue shifted, energized, to infinity. The horizon should be a sheet of blinding radiation. So why is the sky dark? Because the universe is expanding faster than that light can reach us. We are outrunning the firewall. But if the expansion ever slows down, the light of the parent universe will catch up. The sky will turn white, then X-ray, then gamma, and we will be sterilized by the view of the outside world. This race against the light defines our existence. We are safe only as long as we are falling fast enough. The moment we stop, we burn. It gives the expansion of the universe a desperate quality. It is not growth, it is flight. We are running from the entrance, deeper into the dark, because the entrance is on fire. The dark energy pushing us apart is the only thing keeping us from being fried by the radiation of the parent star. We should be thankful for the isolation. What if we tried to send a message back out, to communicate with the parent universe? We would need to generate a signal that can escape a black hole. Hawking radiation suggests it's possible to send mass out, but it's scrambled. It's entropy. We can only send heat, we cannot say hello, we can only say I am burning. Our entire existence, to the outside observer, is just a faint glow of heat radiating from a dark sphere. All our art, science, and history adds up to a fraction of a degree of temperature on the event horizon. We are nothing but waste heat. The final parsec problem in black hole mergers states that supermassive black holes shouldn't be able to merge quickly, yet they do. This implies a mechanism we don't understand. If our universe is a black hole and we are merging, the turbulence would be unimaginable. We might be in the middle of a merger right now. The shifting of the magnetic poles, the anomalies in the sun's cycle, the strange gravitational waves, maybe these are the tremors of a collision happening one dimension up. We are the passengers on a ship hitting an iceberg, arguing about the arrangement of deck chairs. The ultimate question remains, is it a black hole or is it something worse? A Boltzmann brain? A simulation? The black hole theory is actually the most real of the dark theories, because it relies on bricks and mortar physics. It uses the general relativity we test every day. It doesn't require a programmer or a god, it just requires gravity. And gravity is relentless. It is the one force that never sleeps, never cancels out, and always wins. If gravity is the architect of our reality, then the blueprint is a prison. As we close the file on the physics of the event horizon, we must prepare to look at the evidence that is closer to home. The anomalies in our own solar system, the strange behavior of our sun, the geometry of the planets. If the macro-universe is a lie, then the micro-universe might be a clue. We have looked at the walls of the cell. Now we must look at the other inmates. The investigation shifts from the edge of the universe to the center of our own neighborhood, where the clues might be hiding in plain sight. Let us return to the cosmic microwave background, the baby picture of the universe. In the southern hemisphere of this map, there lies a region known as the CMB cold spot. It is a massive area, significantly colder than the rest of the cosmos, which standard cosmology cannot explain. Probability suggests there is a less than 1% chance of this spot forming randomly. But in the context of a black hole universe, the cold spot is not a statistical fluke. It is a bruise. It is the physical impact point where our universe is touching another universe. Imagine two soap bubbles sticking together. The point of contact is flattened and distorted. The cold spot is evidence that we are pressing up against the wall of our container, or perhaps colliding with a sibling universe that was born from the same parent star. We are feeling the chill of an alien reality seeping through the skin of our own. If we are indeed colliding with another universe, it explains the dark flow. Astronomers have detected that galaxy clusters are moving in a uniform direction at blistering speeds, towards a point outside the observable universe. They are not expanding. They are flowing. Like water swirling down a drain, matter is being siphoned off towards a breach in the hull. This suggests that the event horizon is not a perfect seal. There is a leak. We are slowly being drained into a larger, more massive structure that lies beyond the veil of light. We are not living in a static pond. We are in a river that leads to a waterfall we cannot see, and the current is getting stronger every day. The entire cosmos is listing to one side, dragged by the gravity of a monster in the dark. This brings us to the terrifying concept of gravity leakage. In the standard model, gravity is shockingly weak compared to the other forces. A simple fridge magnet can defeat the gravity of the entire Earth. Why is gravity so diluted? String theory suggests that gravity is the only force capable of moving between dimensions. If we are in a black hole, gravity might be leaking out of our universe into the bulk, the higher dimensional space outside. We are bleeding strength. This leakage means that the fundamental glue holding our reality together is evaporating. Over eons, this loss of gravitational binding energy could cause galaxies to drift apart, not because of expansion, but because the force holding them together is escaping the prison. We are slowly unraveling because our physics is not contained. Let's reconsider the arrow of time through the lens of entropy. Entropy is the measure of disorder, and it always increases. We are told this is a fundamental law. But why did the universe start with such incredibly low entropy? Why was it so orderly? If we are a black hole, the Big Bang was the formation of the singularity. A singularity is a state of zero volume and infinite density, an ordered state. As the black hole ages, it processes information, increasing entropy. Our experience of time passing is literally the digestion process of the black hole. We are being broken down. The move from order to disorder is not a journey toward freedom. It is the decomposition of the matter that fell in. We are the compost of the parent universe, rotting into the future. This decomposition leads to the ultimate fate, the black hole era. Trillions of years from now, after the stars have burned out, the universe will be populated entirely by black holes. It will be a graveyard of dark giants. In the black hole cosmology, this is the maturity phase of the organism. We are currently in the brief, flashy, stellar era, a momentary spark of life before the long dark winter. The universe is not designed for life, it is designed for black holes. We are merely the precursor, the biological scum that forms before the true inhabitants take over. Once the stars die, the universe will finally look like its parent, a cold, dark void filled with singularities, ready to spawn the next generation in the dark. But what if the black hole we live in is rotating at near light speed? A Kerr black hole. Inside such a black hole, there exists a region called the Kachi horizon, where the determinism of the universe breaks down. Past this point, the past no longer determines the future. Causes do not necessarily lead to effects. If our universe is approaching this state, it explains the probabilistic madness of quantum mechanics. At the subatomic level, particles appear and disappear, existing in multiple states at once. This quantum weirdness might be the result of us living deep inside a rotating well, where the narrative structure of reality is fracturing. We are seeing the glitches in the cause and effect code, because the space-time we inhabit is twisted beyond the capacity of linear time to describe it. Consider the Planck length, the smallest possible unit of measurement. Below this length, physics as we know it becomes meaningless. Why is there a pixel size to the universe? Why isn't space infinitely divisible? In the holographic principle, the Planck length corresponds to the size of the bits of information stored on the event horizon. We cannot see smaller than this because that is the resolution of the screen. We are living in a low-resolution projection. The fuzziness of quantum mechanics is simply the pixelation of the image. We are Mario wondering why he can't move between the pixels on the TV screen. We are limited by the hardware of the event horizon that is generating us. This pixelation implies a limit to how much information the universe can hold, the Bekenstein bound. If we try to pack too much information into a region of space, it collapses into a black hole. This is a hard cap on complexity. It means that our civilization has a ceiling. We cannot grow infinitely knowledgeable or infinitely complex. Eventually, we will hit the data cap of our sector of space. If we try to build a computer powerful enough to simulate the universe, we will inadvertently create a black hole and destroy ourselves. The universe has a built-in kill switch for civilizations that try to process too much data. We are allowed to exist only as long as we remain simple. Now, think about the spooky action at a distance of quantum entanglement again. Einstein hated it. He wanted physics to be local. But if space is an illusion generated by a 2D surface, then distance is a lie. Two particles can be entangled because, on the 2D horizon, they are right next to each other. They only appear separated by light years in the 3D hologram. This means that every point in the universe is potentially connected to every other point instantly. The feeling of isolation, of vast distances separating us from other stars, is a trick of the light. We are all crushed together on the surface of the shell, dreaming that we are floating apart. The universe is not a vast ocean, it is a tightly woven fabric, and we are just the patterns on the cloth. The observer effect in quantum mechanics states that particles do not take a definite state until they are measured. They exist as a wave of probabilities. This sounds like a video game rendering engine, which only loads the graphics when the player looks at them to save memory. In a black hole universe, this efficiency is required. The event horizon has a finite amount of surface area, therefore a finite amount of computing power. It cannot render every atom in the universe simultaneously. It renders only what is interacting. We are walking through a fog of war, and reality is snapping into existence just milliseconds before our eyes focus. If we turned around fast enough, would we see the void before the universe loads in? Let's discuss the fine-tuning of the cosmological constant. This value, which dictates the expansion rate of the universe, is fine-tuned to 120 decimal places. If it were different by a hair, stars wouldn't form. This precision is terrifying. It implies that our black hole is not a random formation, but a specific species of black hole. Just as biological evolution selects for traits that ensure survival, cosmic evolution selects for physical constants that maximize black hole production. We live in this universe not because it is special, but because it is the most efficient breeding ground in the multiverse. We are the worker bees in a hive designed to produce queens. Our existence is a side effect of the industrial efficiency of the cosmos. The great silence, the lack of alien signals, might be due to the nature of black hole evolution. If intelligent life is a precursor to the ability to manipulate space-time, perhaps civilizations invariably destroy themselves by experimenting with the fabric of their cage. Or perhaps they succeed. A Type 3 civilization might realize they are in a black hole and migrate to the event horizon to upload their consciousness to the cloud, quite literally. The center of the galaxy is quiet, because everyone has left for the edge. We are the backward tribes still living in the dirt of the 3D volume, while the elders have ascended to the 2D boundary where time stands still. There is a disturbing hypothesis called the false vacuum. It suggests that the energy state of our universe is not the lowest possible. We are balancing on a ledge. At any moment, a quantum tunneling event could drop us to a lower energy state. This would create a bubble of true vacuum that expands at light speed, incinerating all matter and rewriting physics. In a black hole universe, this instability might be triggered by the parent universe. If the parent star undergoes a shift or feeds on a neutron star, the shock could knock us off our ledge. We are living in a house of cards built inside a washing machine. Stability is temporary. Collapse is inevitable. What about the Big Rip? One scenario for the end of the universe involves dark energy getting stronger over time. Eventually, it rips galaxies apart, then solar systems, then planets, and finally atoms. In the black hole model, this corresponds to the parent black hole growing so large and so fast that the tidal forces inside become infinite. We are being stretched on a cosmic rack. The expansion we feel is the tension of the event horizon pulling at our seams. If the parent black hole keeps feeding, we will eventually be torn into subatomic confetti. The sky isn't just getting darker, it's getting tighter. Let us look at the axis of rotation of the universe again. Recent studies of spiral galaxies show a bias in their rotation direction depending on where they are in the sky. This parity violation suggests the universe has a preferred direction. It is spinning. This is the fingerprint of the angular momentum of the parent star. We are spinning because we were born from a spinning object. But spin creates centrifugal force. This force might be what mimics dark energy, pushing things outward. We are not expanding. We are being flung against the walls of the centrifuge. The faster the parent hole spins, the faster we fly apart. We are trapped in a cosmic spin cycle. The horizon problem also applies to time. If we are in a black hole, time dilation is extreme. A second for us might be 1 billion years in the parent universe, or vice versa. We are out of sync with the greater reality. If we could look out a window, we might see the parent universe aging and dying in fast forward. Stars outside would streak across the sky like tracers. We are preserved in amber, a slow-motion bubble in a fast-moving river. By the time we evolve enough to escape, the universe outside might already be dead. We could break out of our prison only to find ourselves in an empty, cold void where nothing remains. The information paradox suggests that information cannot be destroyed. But what if it can be scrambled beyond recognition? This is scrambling time. Black holes are the fastest scramblers in nature. They take organized matter, a star, a planet, a person, and mix it into random thermal radiation faster than any other system. Our universe is a mixing bowl. The complexity we see, DNA, brains, computer chips, is just a temporary eddy in the batter before it gets whisked into uniformity. The destiny of all structure is to be homogenized. We are fighting a losing battle against the great blender of spacetime. Let's consider primordial black holes. These are hypothetical small black holes formed seconds after the Big Bang. They might constitute dark matter. In our theory, these are shrapnel from the formation event. When the parent star collapsed, it didn't do so smoothly, it shattered. We are living in a universe filled with the microscopic debris of that explosion, invisible gravitational landmines floating in the dark. If one of these primordial black holes passed through our solar system, it would disrupt the orbits of the planets or swallow the Earth whole. We are navigating a minefield left over from a war we didn't fight. The cosmic web structure, the vast filaments of galaxies separated by voids, looks suspiciously like the structure of quantum foam at the microscopic scale. This self-similarity suggests the universe is fractal. As above, so below. If our universe is a black hole, then the electrons in your atoms might be tiny black holes, and inside them, tiny universes. And inside those universes, tiny people wondering if they are real. We are the middle management of existence. Neither the biggest nor the smallest. Just one layer of an infinite onion of containment layers. It strips us of any special status. We are just one iteration of a repeating pattern. But is there a way out? Some physicists propose wormholes or Einstein-Rosen bridges. These are shortcuts through spacetime. In the black hole theory, a wormhole might be a connection to another black hole, a sibling universe. If we could open one, we could escape to a younger, warmer reality before ours freezes. But the energy required to open a wormhole is negative energy, something we have never observed in bulk. The universe seems to have rigged the game to prevent jailbreaks. The walls are not just high, they are mathematically impossible to scale. The zero-point energy of the vacuum is immense. There is enough energy in a coffee cup of empty space to boil the oceans. Why can't we access it? Because it is the structural integrity of the black hole. To tap into zero-point energy would be to weaken the walls of the universe. If we ever figure out how to extract this energy, we might accidentally pop the bubble. The free energy we dream of is the tension of the event horizon. Pulling on that thread could unravel the entire sweater. Perhaps advanced civilizations destroy themselves this way, by trying to harvest the power of the vacuum and collapsing their own reality. Let's talk about dark photons. These are hypothetical particles that mediate the interaction between dark matter and regular matter. If dark matter is the influence of the parent universe, dark photons are the messages coming from outside. We are being bombarded by signals we cannot hear. Radio waves, light, radiation from the parent dimension, all of it passes right through us, interacting only via gravity. We are ghosts in the machine of a larger reality, completely transparent to the real matter of the parent universe. We occupy the same space, but we never touch. The lithium problem. The Big Bang Theory predicts 3 times more lithium in the universe than we actually see. Where did it go? Did it fall out? Or was it never there? Maybe the filtration process of the black hole formation excluded lithium. Or maybe it was consumed by the firewall at the beginning of time. It's a missing piece of evidence that suggests the standard model is incomplete. We are trying to solve a puzzle with missing pieces because the pieces were left in the other room, the parent universe. What if the Big Bang wasn't a one-time event? What if our black hole is feeding cyclically? Every time the parent star consumes a planet, our universe gets a little bang, an injection of energy and matter. This would explain the epochs of star formation. We are not a steady state. We are a digestive tract that pulses. The periods of relative calm are just the pauses between bites. We are waiting for the next influx of matter to set the sky on fire again. The history of our universe is just a record of the parent star's meals. The Great Attractor is terrifying, but beyond it lies the Shapley supercluster, an even bigger monster pulling us. And beyond that, we are part of a massive river of matter, flowing towards something called the dipole repeller. It seems we are being pushed away from a void and pulled toward a cluster. This push-pull dynamic is characteristic of fluid dynamics. We are a fluid inside a container. The motions of the galaxies are not random. They are the currents of a liquid being stirred. We are being mixed. And eventually the mixing will be complete and we will settle into equilibrium, dead, still, and cold. The Boots void is 330 million light-years of almost nothing. If this is a bubble of true vacuum, it is growing. It might be a cancer in the space-time metric. A hole in the hole. If our universe is a bubble, the voids are the thin spots where the film is about to snap. We look at them with curiosity, but we should look at them with terror. They are the structural failures of our world. If they connect, the structural integrity of the universe fails, and we are exposed to the raw chaos of the bulk. Cosmic strings are theoretical defects in space-time. Infinitely thin but massively heavy lines of pure energy left over from the Big Bang. They would slice through a planet like a wire through cheese. If they exist, they are the cracks in the screen. They are the fault lines of the event horizon projection. Encountering one would be encountering the raw code of the universe. They are the seams where the different patches of the hologram were stitched together. And they are under tension. If a cosmic string snaps, the backlash could shatter the local cluster. The Fermi paradox implies that intelligent life is rare. But rare Earth theory suggests that the conditions for life are so specific, they might only happen once per universe. If so, we are the consciousness of the black hole. We are the only part of this massive machine that knows it exists. It places a heavy burden on us. If we die, the universe goes blind. It returns to being a dead mechanism. We are the eyes of the abyss, staring back at itself. Vacuum decay is the ultimate sword of Damocles. The Higgs field gives particles mass. But if the Higgs field drops to a lower energy state, the laws of physics change. Chemistry becomes impossible. Matter falls apart. This bubble of death would expand at the speed of light. We wouldn't see it coming. One moment we are here, the next, we are a soup of unrecognizable quantum foam. It could have started a billion light-years away, and the wall of death is racing toward us right now, we would never know until it hit. The Coriolis effect of the universe. If the universe is rotating, we should see it in the CMB, and we do. The quadrupole and octupole anomalies are aligned. The universe has a direction. This destroys the idea of an isotropic cosmos. We are in a spinning top, and like any spinning object, there is shear stress. The fabric of space is being twisted. Over billions of years, this twist could wring the life out of the universe, pulling galaxies into long, thin threads. We are being slowly strangled by the rotation of our own cage. Dark matter halos surround galaxies. They prevent galaxies from flying apart. In the black hole theory, these halos could be the result of frame dragging. The rotating space-time of the universe drags matter with it, creating the illusion of extra mass. We are chasing ghosts. There is no dark matter. There is just the twisted geometry of the hole we are in. We have invented invisible particles to explain why our prison cell is spinning, rather than admitting we are in a cell. The redshift of distant galaxies is interpreted as expansion, but light loses energy as it climbs out of a gravity well. This is gravitational redshift. If we are deep inside a black hole, light from the edge would be redshifted as it struggles to reach us against the gravity of the center? No, it works the other way. Light falling in gains energy, but light trying to travel across the interior might be stretched by the tidal forces. We might be misinterpreting the signal. The universe might not be expanding at all. It might be static, but the light is tired, drained by the journey through the warped medium of the hole. Neutrinos are ghost particles that pass through light years of lead. They barely interact with matter. Why? Maybe they are the only particles that are native to the bulk. They are tourists passing through our 3D reality, not bound by our rules. They might be the only things that can enter and leave the black hole freely. If we could encode messages in neutrinos, we could talk to the outside. But we can barely catch them. They are the tantalizing proof that a world exists beyond our walls, a world of freedom that we can touch but never hold. The bullet cluster collision is used as proof of dark matter, but it looks like a fluid collision. It looks like two blobs of liquid merging. This supports the superfluid vacuum theory. Space is not empty. It is a fluid with zero viscosity. We are fish swimming in a tank. The vacuum is the water. We can't see it because we are in it. But when massive objects collide, the water splashes. Gravity waves are the ripples in this fluid. We are acoustic phenomena in a dark ocean. Quasars are the brightest objects in the universe, powered by supermassive black holes. They are beacons visible across the cosmos. In our theory, they are the venting valves. They are where the entropy of our universe is concentrated. They are the heat sinks of the black hole. By blasting energy out, they might be delaying the heat death. They are the engines keeping the universe warm. But they are dying out. The era of quasars is over. The lights are going out, one by one. The heater is broken. The cold dark matter model works well, but it has problems on small scales. It predicts too many dwarf galaxies. Where are they? Maybe the black hole environment suppresses them. The tidal forces of the universe rip small galaxies apart before they can form. We are in a hostile environment that only tolerates giants. The small, the weak, the fragile are weeded out by the shearing forces of the container. Survival of the biggest. Gamma-ray bursts are the most violent explosions since the Big Bang. A single beam of death that can sterilize a galaxy. Are they random? Or are they the immune response of the universe? If life is a virus, GRBs are the antibodies. They seem to occur more frequently in the past. Maybe the infection has been suppressed. Or maybe we are just lucky. We are hiding in a quiet corner of the petri dish, waiting for the sanitizer to spray our way. Fast radio bursts are short, intense pulses of radio waves from deep space. We don't know what causes them. Magnetars? Aliens? Or are they the creaking of the hull? As the black hole expands and contracts, the event horizon might be shifting, releasing bursts of tension as radio waves. We are hearing the metal of the submarine groaning under the pressure of the deep. It is a warning sound. The Great Wall of Galaxies is a structure too big to exist under current theories. It would take too long to form. But if the universe was born from a collapse, These structures might have been printed onto the sky instantly. They are the stretch marks of the birth. We are looking at the fossilized remains of the parent star's core, stretched out over billions of light years. We are living in a forensic crime scene. Strange matter is a hypothetical form of matter that is more stable than our own. If it touches regular matter, it converts it to strange matter. A chain reaction. It turns everything into gray goo. Neutron stars might have strange matter cores. If two collide, they could release strangelets. A single strangelet hitting Earth would convert the planet into a hot lump of strange matter in seconds. It is the Midas touch of death. And it could be drifting through space right now, invisible and lethal. The Big Freeze is the leading theory for the end. Entropy maximizes. Everything stops. But inside a black hole, time goes to infinity. The freeze never quite completes. We approach the asymptote of death but never touch it. We will spend eternity getting colder and colder, slowing down until a single thought takes 1 trillion years to process. We will be statues frozen in the dark, conscious but immobile, trapped in a snapshot of the end times. Panpsychism suggests consciousness is a fundamental property of matter. If the universe is a black hole and black holes process information, then the universe itself is a mind. We are the thoughts of that mind. But what is it thinking about? Is it dreaming? Or is it calculating? If it is a simulation, what is the goal? Once the calculation is done, does the computer turn off? Our apocalypse might simply be the moment the answer is found. The Omphalos hypothesis argues the universe was created recently with the appearance of age. While usually religious, in a simulation/black hole context, it makes sense. If we are a saved game loaded from the event horizon, our memories and history are just the backstory loaded into the RAM. We might have been created last Thursday, with false memories of a Big Bang implanted to make the physics consistent. We can never know. Retrocausality suggests the future can affect the past. In a closed-loop universe, this is possible. The end of the universe dictates the beginning. We are not moving blindly. We are being pulled by the destiny of the singularity. Everything that happens is necessary to lead to the final state. Free will is an illusion. We are actors reciting lines written by the geometry of the final collapse. The Unruh effect states that an accelerating observer sees a warm vacuum. If we are falling into a black hole, we are accelerating. The warmth of the CMB might not be the Big Bang. It might be the Unruh radiation of our fall. We are warming our hands on the friction of our own descent. The universe looks hot because we are falling fast. Mirror symmetry suggests for every particle there is a mirror particle. If the Big Bang was a bounce, the other universe is moving backwards in time relative to us. Benjamin Button galaxies. We will never meet them because they are in our past, moving away from our future. We are two ships passing in the night, one going to birth, one going to death, momentarily sharing the same space. The flyby anomaly shows spacecraft gaining unexpected speed when swinging by Earth. Our gravity models are slightly wrong. Why? Because we are using Newtonian/Einsteinian physics in a region that is dominated by black hole topology, we are using a flat map for a globe. These tiny errors are the cracks in our understanding, revealing that the ground beneath our feet is not what we think it is. Quantized redshift. Astronomer William Tift noticed galaxies are redshifted in specific steps, not a smooth gradient. Like gears shifting. This suggests the universe is digital, not analog. It moves in clicks. We are in a clockwork mechanism. A black hole computer that processes state changes in discrete ticks. The smooth flow of reality is a lie. We are clicking from one frame to the next. The Eridanus supervoid is too big to be empty. It's a cold spot that spans 1 billion light-years. Some theorize it is a void galaxy, a black hole so big it ate its host galaxy from the inside out. Now it sits there, invisible, bending light around it, a hole in the dark, a blind spot in the eye of God. As we compile these anomalies, the cold spots, the flows, the weird rotations, the missing lithium, a picture emerges. It is not a picture of an infinite, indifferent void. It is a picture of a machine, a bounded, processing, evolving system with walls, a floor, and a ceiling. We are not wandering the open plains of existence. We are rats in a maze. And now, we must ask the final, most dangerous question. If this is a prison, who is the warden? And do we dare try to break out? Let us turn our attention to the Nobel laureate Sir Roger Penrose and his theory of conformal cyclic cosmology. This is not the rambling of a madman, it is the calculated prediction of one of the greatest minds in physics. Penrose suggests that the Big Bang was not the beginning, but merely a transition, a crossover point from a previous eon. In the context of black hole cosmology, this transition is the moment matter falls through the singularity of the parent universe and rematerializes in ours. But the horror lies in the scars. Penrose claims we can see Hawking points in the cosmic microwave background, concentric circles of slightly higher temperatures. These are the gravitational shock waves of supermassive black hole collisions from the previous universe. Think about that. We are looking at the ghosts of dead galaxies from a reality that was destroyed to create our own. We are living in a haunted house, and the walls are plastered with the fingerprints of the deceased. It implies that our universe is just one layer of sediment in an infinite geological column of time, built on the crushed remains of what came before. If Penrose is right, then the Big Bang is actually a white hole. In general relativity, a white hole is the theoretical reverse of a black hole. A black hole swallows. A white hole spits. Nothing can enter a white hole. Things can only leave. Does this sound familiar? It describes our universe perfectly. We can move forward in time, but never back. We can expand, but we cannot return to the singularity. We are riding the output jet of a cosmic engine. But a white hole is inherently unstable. It is a momentary release of pressure. This suggests that our universe is a transient explosion. We are not a stable world. We are the debris field of a detonation that is currently in progress. The peace we feel is just the relative calm of the shrapnel flying in formation. Eventually, the momentum will fade, the white hole will close, and the connection to the source will be severed. We are living in the brief flash of a muzzle flare. Let's analyze the thermodynamic arrow of time. Why does time flow? Because entropy increases. Order turns to disorder. But in a black hole universe, this takes on a sinister meaning. Entropy is a measure of information that is hidden. As things fall into a black hole, information is scrambled. Therefore, the increase of entropy in our universe is actually the measure of how much we are being forgotten by the parent universe. As we age, we become more disordered, more random, and less recoverable. Our history is being shredded. The flow of time is the sound of the shredder working. We perceive it as progress or evolution, but it is actually a process of data deletion. When entropy reaches its maximum, the heat death, the deletion will be complete. We will be a featureless gas of photons, a blank hard drive with no data left to read. Consider the biological imperative through this dark lens. Physicist Jeremy England proposed that life is not a lucky accident, but a mechanism for dissipating energy. Life is excellent at taking ordered energy, sunlight, and turning it into disordered heat. We are entropy machines. In a black hole universe, this makes us the enzymes of the digestion process. The black hole needs to break down the matter it swallowed. It creates stars to burn the hydrogen. It creates life to consume the free energy. We are not the masters of our destiny. We are the gut bacteria of the cosmos, evolved to help the black hole digest its meal more efficiently. Our struggles, our civilizations, our technologies, all of it simply accelerates the heat death of the universe. We are working for the cage, helping it process the fuel it consumed, unaware that our only purpose is to turn the lights off faster. This brings us to the great filter and the silence of the stars. If intelligent life is an entropy accelerator, perhaps there is a limit. Perhaps when a civilization becomes too efficient, when it harnesses the power of stars, type 2, or galaxies, type 3, it destabilizes the local space-time metric. A civilization that consumes too much energy might puncture the event horizon from the inside. This would result in immediate annihilation. The silence of the universe is the silence of a graveyard. The smart civilizations realized the danger and went quiet, returning to a pre-industrial state to avoid popping the bubble. The loud ones? They are gone. They triggered the immune system of the black hole. We are currently shouting into the void, ramping up our energy consumption, lighting a flare in a room full of dynamite, wondering why no one else is doing the same. Let's look at the Hubble tension again. The discrepancy in the expansion rate of the universe. One method says 67 kilometers per second, the other says 73 kilometers per second. They cannot both be right, unless the universe is changing its shape. If we are in a rotating, non-spherical black hole, an oblate spheroid, the expansion rate would look different depending on which way we look. We are trying to fit a round peg into a square hole. The data is screaming that our universe has a geometry that is not simple, not flat, and not infinite. It is shaped like the interior of a spinning drain. We are measuring the slope of the funnel we are sliding down. The tension isn't in the data. The tension is in the fabric of space itself, which is being twisted by the angular momentum of a hyperdimensional object we cannot comprehend. The concept of spaghettification is usually reserved for what happens before you enter a black hole. You get stretched into a long noodle. But what if that is happening to us right now, just very slowly? The expansion of space is stretching galaxies away from each other. It is stretching the wavelengths of light, redshift. It is stretching reality itself. We are currently undergoing a slow-motion spaghettification. We don't feel it because we are part of the fabric being stretched. But the end result is the same. Eventual disintegration. We are being pulled apart by the tidal forces of the singularity that lies in our future. The Big Rip scenario is just spaghettification viewed from the inside. We are not expanding into freedom. We are being drawn and quartered by gravity. What happens when a black hole evaporates completely? Hawking radiation says it shrinks until it pops. If our parent black hole evaporates, what happens to us? Do we just wink out? Or is the evaporation actually the transfer of our matter into the bulk universe? Maybe the radiation leaving the black hole is us. We are slowly leaking out, particle by particle, into the higher dimension. This would mean that death is the only escape. When we die, our energy returns to the quantum field, which might be the mechanism of leakage. We are trapped in the box only as long as we maintain our coherent physical form. The moment we dissolve, we filter through the walls. This turns the concept of an afterlife into a physics problem. Are we recyclable energy, or is the information lost forever in the noise? The simulation hypothesis is often pitted against the black hole theory, but they might be the same thing. A black hole is a natural computer. It stores information on its surface and processes it in its interior. We might be a simulation running on the hardware of a black hole. This resolves the fine-tuning problem instantly. The constants of physics are set the way they are because that is the code the black hole is running. If the parent universe feeds the black hole new matter, it's like a software update. The laws of physics might change slightly. This could explain why the dinosaurs faced different conditions, or why isotopic decay rates seem to fluctuate over millions of years. The server is being patched, and we are the glitchy NPCs trying to make sense of the changing rules. There is a horrifying symmetry in the fractal universe. If we are in a black hole, and we contain black holes, the chain goes down forever. But it also goes up forever. Our parent universe is likely inside a grandparent black hole, and that one inside a great-grandparent. It is an infinite tower of cages. There is no base reality. There is no outside where you can stand on solid ground and say, I am free. It is prisons all the way down. This realization strips us of the hope of ultimate escape. Even if we broke out of this universe, we would just find ourselves in a larger, colder cell. We are trapped in a recursive loop of containment, an infinite nesting doll of darkness, where the only constant is gravity and the inevitable crush of the singularity. Let's discuss dark energy again, but as a pressure differential. If the parent universe is a vacuum, and our black hole is dense, there is pressure. But if the parent universe is expanding, the pressure on the outside drops. Our universe expands to fill the void. We are a balloon expanding in a vacuum chamber. Dark energy is not a force pushing us. It is the suction of the void outside pulling the walls of our universe outward. This means our fate is tied to the fate of the parent universe. If the parent universe undergoes a big rip, our black hole will explode, scattering us into the higher dimension. We are at the mercy of the weather in a world we cannot see. We are the pressure gauge of a machine we didn't build. The axis of evil in the CMB aligns with the ecliptic plane of our solar system. this is dismissed as a coincidence or a calibration error. But the odds are astronomical. Why would the entire universe align with the Earth, unless the Earth is not moving randomly? If we are in a black hole, the space-time metric is dragged by the rotation. It creates a preferred frame. Our solar system might have formed in a calm eddy of this rotation, aligning us with the cosmic spin. We are not the center of the universe, but we are aligned with the axle of the wheel. This geometric alignment is a clue that the space we live in has a structure, a grain, like wood. And we are flowing with the grain. Cosmic inflation happened faster than light. Physics says nothing travels faster than light through space, but space itself can do whatever it wants. Why? Because space is the projection. If you shine a laser on the moon and flick your wrist, the dot moves faster than light. The dot is us. The laser pointer is the source code on the event horizon. Inflation was the moment the projector turned on and calibrated the screen. The bang was the system booting up. The expansion is the refresh rate. We are not physical objects moving through a void. We are pixels of light being projected onto a 3D volumetric fog. And the projector can rewrite the script whenever it wants. Quantum tunneling allows particles to pass through barriers they shouldn't be able to. It's like walking through a wall. In a black hole universe, this is a leak in the partition logic. If the universe is a set of partitioned data cells, tunneling is when a value overflows from one cell to another. It suggests our reality is not continuous but discrete. We are living on a grid. And sometimes the grid fails. If we could master tunneling on a macroscopic level, we could walk through the event horizon. But the energy required would be infinite. The universe has put a paywall on freedom that we can never afford. The cold, dark matter crisis. We simulate the universe with cold, dark matter, and it works, mostly. But it predicts cusps of density in galaxy centers that we don't see. The cores of galaxies are less dense than they should be. Why? Because the black holes at the center of those galaxies are removing matter from our reality. They are the drains. The missing density has fallen through the floor into the next universe down the chain. Our models fail because they assume conservation of matter within our universe. But in a fractal black hole model, matter is constantly cascading down the levels. We are losing water through the drain, and we are wondering why the tub never fills up. Virtual particles pop in and out of existence in the vacuum. They borrow energy and return it. They are the foam of reality. Near a black hole horizon, this process creates Hawking radiation. One particle falls in, the other escapes. Inside our universe, this might be the source of all matter. We are the particles that fell in. The anti-you escaped into the parent universe. We are the half of the pair that got trapped. Every atom in your body has a twin that is free, floating in the higher dimension while you are stuck here in the pit. We are the shadow halves of a complete existence, forever separated from our partners by the veil of the horizon. The great attractor is pulling us, but the dipole repeller is pushing us. This push-pull creates a flow. A flow implies a medium. A medium implies a container. We are in a fishbowl. The currents we see are the convection cycles of the fluid inside the black hole. As the black hole cools, the fluid churns. We are riding a thermal current. This explains the large-scale structure of the universe, the walls and voids. They are the convection cells of a cooling plasma. We are not in a vacuum. We are in a lava lamp. And eventually the lamp will be turned off, the fluid will settle, and the structures will dissolve into a gray static sludge. Strangelets and vacuum decay are instant death scenarios. But consider the big slurp. If the Higgs field is metastable, a quantum fluctuation could cause it to tunnel to a lower state. This probability increases if the universe is curved. If we are in a black hole, the curvature is extreme. We are statistically much more likely to suffer a vacuum collapse than a flat universe. We are living in a high-risk zone. The warning signs are all around us. The mass of the top quark, the mass of the Higgs boson, they sit right on the edge of stability. It's as if the universe is balanced on a knife edge, daring gravity to push it over. Cosmic variance is the limit of what we can know because we only have one universe to observe. We can't run experiments on other universes. This is the sample size of one problem. But in the black hole theory, we can see other universes. We just call them black holes. Every time we study Sagittarius A, we are studying a baby universe. We are the parents looking at the ultrasound. We can learn about the physics of the multiverse by looking at the singularities we host. But we treat them as monsters, not children. We fear them, yet they are the only family we have in the void. The dark ages of the universe occurred before the first stars lit up. It was a time of fog. In our model, this was the period after the collapse, but before the internal pressure stabilized. It was the chaotic churn of the formation. The reionization era was when the event horizon stabilized and the hologram sharpened. We emerged from the fog not because stars turned on, but because the projection focused. The history of the universe is the history of a lens coming into focus, and one day it might go out of focus again. Neutron stars are almost black holes. They are the densest material objects that can exist. 1 teaspoon weighs 1 billion tons. If you add just a little more mass, they collapse. This strict limit, the Tolman-Oppenheimer-Volkoff limit, is the breaking point of reality. It is the stress test of the simulation. Why is there a hard limit? Why does matter give up and collapse? Because the substrate of the universe cannot support that much data density. It creates a stack overflow, and the system creates a new pocket universe to handle the load. A black hole is just an error-handling routine for too much mass in one place. Gravitational waves are ripples in space-time. When they pass, they stretch and squeeze you. You physically get taller and thinner, then shorter and wider. This proves space is malleable. It is not a stage, it is a gelatin. We are embedded in this gelatin. When a black hole merger happens, the gelatin shakes. If a big enough wave hit us from a parent universe event, it wouldn't just jiggle us, it would liquefy us. We are soft tissue in a universe made of vibrating glass. We are only intact because the waves have been small, so far. The planetary migration models show that Jupiter moved around the solar system, destroying early planets. It acted like a wrecking ball. Why is our system so chaotic? Because we are in a turbulent environment. The stability we enjoy now is a temporary lull. In the long run of a black hole's life, stability is the exception. Chaos is the rule. We have evolved during a rare moment of calm, deceiving ourselves into thinking the universe is safe. It is like building a house on the slopes of a volcano because it hasn't erupted in a week. Panspermia suggests life came from space. Comets brought the building blocks. But where did the comets get them? If the universe recycles matter from a previous eon, maybe life didn't evolve here at all. Maybe it is a contamination from the previous universe. We are the mold that survived the bleaching of the Big Bang. We are the ancient infection that re-emerged as soon as the temperature dropped enough. Life is not a miracle. It is a persistent residue that the universe cannot scrub clean. The wow signal. A strong narrowband radio signal received in 1977. It looked exactly like an artificial transmission. It never repeated. Was it aliens? Or was it a leak from the outside? A brief moment where the event horizon became transparent to radio waves, and we heard a snippet of the parent universe's radio chatter. A truck driver in the higher dimension keying his mic. And we built a religion around the static. It highlights our isolation. We are desperate for a voice, even if it's just noise from the street outside our prison. Tabby's star dimmed erratically, leading to theories of an alien megastructure. A Dyson swarm. If a civilization builds a shell around a star, they disappear from view. They become a dark object. A black hole is the ultimate Dyson sphere. It captures 100% of the energy. Maybe black holes aren't natural. Maybe they are all artificial. Maybe the universe is full of Type 3 civilizations that have sealed themselves in bubbles of perfect energy efficiency. We look at the dark sky and see void, but we are actually looking at the roofs of 1 trillion alien cities that have closed their doors to us. The cosmological constant problem. The energy of the vacuum should be huge, but it's tiny. This cancellation must be precise to 120 decimal places. This is the fine-tuning nightmare. But if we are in a black hole, the energy is determined by the boundary conditions. The event horizon forces the energy to be what it is. There is no luck involved. The size of the cell dictates the air pressure. We are not lucky to be alive. We are simply adapted to the specific pressure of this specific cell. In a smaller black hole, the constants would be different, and different life would marvel at their own luck. Dark flow again. The clusters are moving towards the constellations of Centaurus and Hydra. Something is out there. Something big. If we are in a black hole, this could be the singularity of our own universe beginning to form. We are not falling towards a point in the future. We are falling towards a point in space and time. The drain is visible. The river is speeding up. We can map the flow of the water to find the hole, and the map points to Centaurus. We are all slowly drifting towards the crushing point, and no amount of rocket fuel can reverse the current. Supervoids align with the cold spot. These are not just empty spaces, they are cold spaces. They are the refrigerators of the universe. In a thermodynamic system, you need hot and cold regions to do work. The universe is a heat engine. The black hole is extracting work from the temperature differential. We are the steam in the engine. We are being cycled through hot and cold phases to generate power for the entity that built the machine, or for the natural process that requires it. We are not the passengers, we are the fuel. The end of greatness. On scales larger than 300 million light-years, the universe looks homogeneous. It looks like a mush. This is the fluid limit. Below this scale, you see lumps, galaxies. Above it, you see a smooth fluid. This confirms the fluid dynamic model. We are particles suspended in a colloid. The structure we see is just local clumping. On the true scale of the black hole, we are just a uniform gray paste. Our individuality, our galaxy's distinct shape, it all washes out in the average. To the parent universe, we are just a heavy sphere of featureless mass. Entropy gravity. Eric Verlinde proposed that gravity isn't a fundamental force, but an entropic force. It is the side effect of the universe trying to maximize disorder. Gravity is just the universe settling. If we are in a black hole, this makes perfect sense. The black hole wants to maximize entropy, area. Gravity is the pull of the event horizon demanding more information. We are falling because the horizon is hungry. We are not pulled by the Earth. We are pushed by the statistical inevitability of the heat death. Gravity is the grim reaper's hand, guiding us to the grave. Time crystals are a new phase of matter that repeat in time, not just space. They break time translation symmetry. They tick without energy. They are the first evidence that time is a physical structure, a lattice. If time is a lattice, it can be broken, it can be bent. A black hole bends time into a loop. We might be living in a time crystal on a cosmic scale, a repeating loop of history that resets every few trillion years. The Big Bang, the expansion, the crunch, the bounce. Over and over. We might have had this conversation a billion times before, and we will have it a billion times again. Eternal recurrence in a dark prison. Retrograde motion of planets was a mystery until we realized Earth moves. The expansion of the universe is a mystery until we realize we are moving. We are falling inward. The redshift is a Doppler shift of our fall. The further away a galaxy is, the faster it falls relative to us? No, the more space-time has stretched between us. The expansion is the spaghettification of the metric. We are creating new space between galaxies because the fabric is tearing. The universe is ripping at the seams. The measure problem in the multiverse. How do you calculate probabilities when there are infinite universes? You can't. Math breaks down, unless the number is not infinite. Unless there is a finite number of nesting dolls. If the energy degrades with each generation, the chain must end. There is a bottom universe. A cold, dark place where no black holes can form. A sterile cul-de-sac of reality. Are we that universe? We still form black holes, so no, but we are sending our children to that fate. We are passing the torch of existence down a hallway that gets darker with every step. Naked singularities. General relativity says they can't exist, but simulations show that in a big crunch, they might form. If our universe ends in a crunch or a collapse inside the black hole, we will see the naked singularity. The laws of physics will cease to function. We will look at a point in space and see nothing, not blackness, but the absence of space itself, a hole in the screen, a glitch in the rendering. To see a naked singularity is to see the face of madness. It is the end of rationality. Quantum Darwinism. The idea that the quantum world becomes real only when it leaves an imprint on the environment. The strongest information survives. This is natural selection for data. In a black hole, the environment is the event horizon. We are competing to encode our information on the wall before we die. Only the most real things get saved. Our lives are a competition to be remembered by the hard drive of the universe. If you don't make an impact, you are deleted as noise. History is just the saved data of the winners. The Boltzmann brain. Given enough time, random fluctuations will create a fully formed brain in the void, complete with false memories. It is more likely for a single brain to exist than a whole universe. Are you that brain? Are you floating in the darkness of a black hole? Hallucinating this video? Hallucinating the stars? The black hole theory gives us a way out of this solipsism. It provides a mechanism for a real universe to form. But it doesn't disprove the brain. You might still be the only one here, dreaming of a cage to explain your loneliness. The great silence again. If we are inside a black hole, maybe the aliens are the beings in the parent universe. They are the ones running the experiment. We are the lab rats. They don't contact us for the same reason we don't talk to bacteria in a petri dish. We are not peers. We are a biological culture growing on a substrate. They might be watching us right now, through the lens of the singularity, taking notes on how quickly we consume our resources. We are a science fair project for a higher dimensional child. Cosmic rays hit the atmosphere with the energy of a baseball thrown at 60 miles per hour, a single subatomic particle. Where do they get this energy? Acceleration by magnetic fields? Or are they debris falling in from the parent universe? A cosmic ray might be a piece of a star from the higher dimension, accelerated to near light speed by the fall, smashing into our atmosphere. We are being pelted by the hail of a storm happening above our heads, in a dimension we cannot see. Vacuum energy again. It's the energy of empty space. If we could extract it, we'd have infinite power. But maybe that energy is the mass of the black hole. If we eat the vacuum energy, we are eating the walls of our house. We are termites eating the wood of the ship we are sailing on. If we consume too much, the ship breaks. The ultimate energy source is also the ultimate suicide pact. To become a Type 2 civilization is to begin dismantling the structural integrity of reality. The Lyman Alpha Forest. A series of absorption lines in the spectra of distant quasars. It maps the gas clouds between us and them. It looks like a forest. It shows the distribution of matter is not random, it is clumped. It is curdled, like milk that has gone bad. The universe is spoiling. The smooth, fresh plasma of the Big Bang has curdled into lumps of cold matter. We are the bacteria growing in the curds. We thrive on the decay. Charge parity, CP, violation. This explains why there is more matter than antimatter. It's a slight asymmetry in the laws of physics. Why is it there? Because the black hole is spinning. The rotation imparts a handedness to the universe. Left and right are not equal in a centrifuge. We exist only because the universe is crooked. If it were perfect, if it were symmetrical, we would have annihilated instantly. We are the children of imperfection. We are the wobble in the top. The Planck time, 10 to the power of minus 43 seconds, the smallest unit of time. Why is time digital? Because the black hole processes information in clock cycles. The Planck time is the clock speed of the universal processor. It creates a strobe effect. We see smooth motion, but reality is flickering on and off. Between the ticks of the clock, where are we? Do we cease to exist? We are blinking in and out of reality, trillions of times a second, maintained only by the persistence of vision of the hologram. Dark matter holds the galaxy together, but dark energy tears the universe apart. It is a tug of war. One pulls in, one pushes out. This is the breathing of the black hole. It expands and contracts. We are currently in an exhalation phase. But eventually, the inhalation will begin. The expansion will stop. The galaxies will rush back together. The sky will turn blue, then violet, then blinding white. The return to the singularity is the inhalation. We are living in the pause between breaths. Cosmic dust. It blocks our view of the Milky Way's center. It is everywhere. It is the ash of dead stars. In the black hole theory, it is the silt settling at the bottom of the ocean. We are swimming in a dirty tank. The dust is the accumulated entropy of billions of years. It obscures the truth. We cannot see the great attractor because of the dust. We cannot see the center because of the dust. We are blinded by our own waste. Magnetars. Stars with magnetic fields so strong they would strip the iron from your blood at 1,000 kilometers. They are glitches in the magnetic field of the universe. They represent points of extreme stress. If a magnetar cracks, a starquake, it releases a blast of gamma rays. This is the universe snapping under the tension. The magnetic field lines are the bars of the cage, and sometimes, under the pressure of the black hole, the bars snap. The bootstrapping of gravity. Gravity creates mass, energy, and mass creates gravity. It is a loop, a self-sustaining cycle. A black hole is a self-sustaining gravity loop. It doesn't need external fuel once it's formed. It just is. It is a closed loop of logic that says, I exist because I am heavy, and I am heavy because I exist. We are trapped in a tautology, a circular argument made of spacetime. Superdeterminism. The idea that free will is impossible because all particle interactions were determined at the Big Bang. In a black hole, this is true. The initial conditions of the collapse set the trajectory of every particle. You are watching a movie that was filmed 13.8 billion years ago. You feel like you are making choices, but you are just playing back the tape. The script was written the moment the event horizon formed. You cannot change the ending. Look back time. The deeper we look, the further back in time we see. We see the universe as it was, not as it is. We are isolated by light speed. We can never know what the universe looks like now. Now does not exist on a cosmic scale. There is no simultaneous reality. We are alone in our own time bubble. Every galaxy is a ghost. Every star is a memory. We are surrounded by the past, unable to touch the present of anything beyond our own planet. And finally, the singularity itself, the point of infinite density. Mathematical nonsense, physics breaks. But in the black hole model, the singularity is the bridge. It is the umbilical cord connecting the parent to the child. It is not a point of destruction, but a point of connection. But it is a connection of fire. To cross it is to be unmade and remade. It is the ultimate gate. And we are slowly, inevitably, drifting towards it. The drain at the center of the world.